This is a D6 generation pip. One of those dots on the side of a six-sided die. Yeah, a pip. A short pip. Little something. About anything gaming related. Sometimes featuring Craig, sometimes featuring Russ. We'll see what's coming up today.
Hey, welcome everybody. Welcome to the D6G Roleplay 8 Charisma. We've got another Raves Roundtable, aka Players Academy, aka welcome to the 3-Name Inn. I'll let John explain that one. And we've got with us today all the favorite characters that you've come to know and love. We put Russ, we put him out on holiday, and Craig, our newest character, will be joining us shortly. He had to run a little errand that he let us know about earlier today. So let me introduce everybody. As you know, I'm Rafe Granger. I play Euphemia. With us today, we also have Seppi, who plays
Pyrrhic Starfinder.
And we have Joe, who plays
the Ulrich Dane Frostbeard.
Along with his brother, John, not in real life, but in character roleplay.
For all Earthborn.
And last and least, Doc.
Who plays Karlik, properly pronounced as Cowlick.
That's right. The Minotaur Bard. Okay, back to the task at hand. So we're going to do some leveling, talk about our leveling, and then maybe talk about some of our highlights. So who wants to go first? Seppi, we were in the midst of pre-show. By the way, if you're watching on Patreon, you can see the video, and you also get extra bloopers and add-ons. So there was a little bit of pre-show going on. Seppi, you were in the midst of figuring out.
Violent hand gestures is what I was in the middle of.
Oh, that was the other thing we were talking about.
That was the other. I'm doing some jutsus. I am a player who relies heavily on players who have good game knowledge. I'm too old and I play too many versions of Dungeons and Dragons to always get them right. So I rely on a John or a Joe to make my stuff happen. So if they're willing to help me, I'm willing to go first.
It reminds me of my favorite line in the movie Jerry Maguire. Help me, help you, Seppi.
We're right behind you, Seppi.
I sadly have to admit that I know general rules really well, but Joe knows every single character and what you should do with them. So,
I will tell you, John is my mentor, so I will give that back to him. In real life, I do look up to him.
That's just
because he's tall?
Not tall.
No, he's not. He's shorter than I am by far.
It's the hair.
So I'm excited about Joe being either in front of me or behind me, depending on the situation. And so I'm willing to try this out, Ray.
All right, let's share your screen. Let's get going.
All right, I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to do that. And you guys are going to see all yous. Can you all see all yous?
Yep.
Yes.
All right. And then, all right. So we've done this once before. Do we go to bio? No, we do not.
Nope, you're going to go to the very top step. You see the little gear next to spells? Nope, don't exit. Don't edit there. Yeah, right there.
All right. So we're hitting the cog.
And then you're going to go down that third column.
Yeah.
Where it says launch character,
nope.
Launch level plus character mancer.
All right. We do that one?
Please.
Thank you.
And
welcome to Character Mancer. Yay! Do I hit next?
And we're going to go next.
Next. All right.
Now, what we always do, the best way is to roll it. If your average is greater than the roll, we're going to take the average. If the roll is greater, we're going to take the better of the two rolls.
Okay, so I roll.
Yep.
Where did my roll go? Okay.
So you got 2 hit points. So you want to take your average. You're going to click average.
All right.
And I'll bring it to 4. And there's
cool.
nothing here. Now it gives you the option of, you've already picked your school. There's no subclass feature you can get.
What's the school?
His school is evocation, if you see it there. And each school of evocation gives you a special ability. John's actually played a wizard. He can tell you that the abjuration school rocks for protection. Evocation is what allows Seppi to hit me, for example, with all the zombies with an area of effect spell like Flaming Hands and avoid a character, me. So I didn't get hit. So every school has a special ability to it.
Yes, that goes up. How many per level?
I don't remember, but it's per. John, do you remember how many people can you ignore per level for evocation? Can you
That I don't know. I'd have to look it up. But
Because I just want to start throwing
Might be
those
based on
fireballs at dwarves. I don't know what it is about me.
fifth level, you're going to be a monster.
Maybe it's something I should, talk to my therapist about. Can I hit next?
Yes, go next.
Okay.
We are, for those listening at home, we're leveling to level 4.
All right. Can I hit next?
So now here is your ability score increased to level 4. And now,
this is also where you pick features, I believe, right?
yeah, this is the features part.
Yeah, but it's just next, I think.
Yeah, we're going to next through this one because there's nothing we can do here.
All right.
Here
I'm
it is.
on
So
board.
this is your ability score increase or a feat. So you may take a choice of if that's a feat, and you can do a drop down and pick it, or you can do ability score increase. And we had talked about that before. And Seppi, if you want to go through the different options of what you were thinking about for picking and why you picked this one.
One of the best things about this campaign is that it keeps on giving. Like, we have multiple spontaneous conversations in text messages depending on the time of the week. Like, Craig's new addition is if he is on a ski lift, he needs to be texting us. He has proven that this is the thing that he needs in his life. If John needs a little bit of a boost in the week, he just starts taking shots at Joe. That just cheers him up, and a happy John cheers the rest of us up, really. No, not really. And so one of the things we covered in our weekly discussion was what feat would you take and why? I was going to take stats, but since I stole that piece of intelligence from Cowlick, I decided I could afford to instead level my intelligence slowly by taking things that would give me intelligence 1 point at a time. So in the story, my rolling really turned around the obelisk, and I got arcane abilities. And I also realized, since my character was pre-gen, that they never got history as one of their proficient feats. Despite the fact that I've been playing that way the entire time, I feel like that is a massive oversight for Pyric. So I'm going to take skill expert. And first, I'm going to choose intelligence, which will put me up to 18, which will get me up to that next stat. And then the thing that I want to be proficient in is history, because I really wanted that. I'm constantly quoting crop rotation and yield numbers of peasant goat farmers. If there isn't like a pound per cheese per copper piece ratio, I just don't think that world is livable or
Is
real.
balanced. There's no balance.
Yeah, no, there was, just for the record, myself as a GM, I usually do about 4 hours of prep for every 1 hour of play. And I did the entire economy of a fiefdom down to pounds of chicken that this fiefdom produces and how much that needed to be taxed, because the adventure was called Tax Day. So it was a 16-page document because the characters then had to go and force taxes. And yeah, that was fun. All right, so we're going to do Arcana as me talking.
No, I have a question on that, Seppi. When you say it didn't have Arcana, how's that possible as a wizard? I thought that's one of your base skills.
Didn't have history.
Oh.
He's taking expertise in Arcana.
Oh, okay. What's expertise?
Doubles your proficiency bonus.
Okay.
Did my proficiency bonus go up at 4 or
It
no?
goes up. No, it doesn't go up till 5th level.
Okay. This is me being kind to future Pyric, which I really want to do. Russ has said multiple times, if you want to do finessey, creative spell stuff, he's really going to lay in on the Arcana skill to modify how your spell behavior is going to happen, right? I was very interested in shield and mage armor being shaped or creating very specific effects with the stuff. And so And I asked Russ in advance, sort of, how does that work? He's like, I'll never say no, but I might make you make an Arcana check. And he said that multiple times on record. And that is why we podcast, so I can keep Russ accountable. So, yes. So this is all according to my plan, my ultimate manipulation of Russ. So I'm going to hit next if you say it's okay.
Yeah, Pyrrhix, his Arcana goes up by 1 point for intelligence and another 2 points for the expertise. So he gains a 3-point boost in Arcana, giving him a net bonus of +8 when he makes that die roll right now.
Does that include my innate 1 that I have because I stole
+9 because he got it, because when he got bonked in the head, Kalik also gave Pyrrhix some more Arcana knowledge.
Yeah.
Stole all of Calic's intelligence.
I did. So, and then do I just hit next?
Yes.
All right. Now, this spells, I really would like some help with this. Now, I only get 1 spell as a wizard that I just get to craft into my book, or how does this work?
2 of any type of spells you like at any level.
Does he have to pick them within his school of evocation?
No.
No, but they have to be a level he can cast. He can't pick
So
up.
first or second level.
And what does being the school of evocation do for him?
So as I was mentioning, I just looked it up where he was leveling up. He's allowed to sculpt a spell at this point in time and ignore 1 person plus the spell level that's in the area of effect to not damage them. So
if it's an evocation spell.
If it's an evocation spell, which is most of your damaging spells. He's looking at.
The other bonus for your school is, so we haven't gotten to this yet either because we haven't had any downtime, but Pyric has a bunch of scrolls he can copy into his spell book, and they cost, it's 50 gold per level and an hour of time per level, I believe it is. And if it's one of his discipline, evocation, it takes half as long to do and half as much money.
Right. And at 6th level, he's going to get the ability when he casts an evocation cantrip. And normally it's all or nothing. Even if they make their save, they take half damage. So they're going to take damage no matter what. With some spells, you just don't do damage to make their save. They do get that. That's an evocation master thing.
Okay.
Now, group, I really need your help. Obviously, Dan's constant attacks on my person, moral, the ones that cause me real hit points of my soul, about letting those poor brigands burn to death, which is totally not my fault. That's their fire safety problem. But pyrotechnics as a spell would allow me to, you can extinguish the fire in that area and create either fireworks or smoke. So it would give us a chance to manipulate fire again. I could go a little bit crazy. Is that something, do you think I could get really creative with this ability?
The problem with that is you have to have a flame going in order for it to work. So
that's not a problem.
John, you can throw out your favorites, but just going down the list, my favorites on that list are going to be Scorching Ray, Rope Trick, Misty Step, Raven Feeblement. Let's see. Those are, as I keep going up.
Dragon's Breath. I feel like that's really appropriate.
Dragon's Breath is okay. It's better if you cast it on your familiar, which you don't have. If you ever get a familiar, because your familiar can go up and breathe Dragon Breath on people. And you don't want to be face-to-face with anybody. Pyrrhic's not, I'm going to get in your throat.
No.
I know
the component is a hot pepper.
Yeah, I know you want to lean in on the evocation and the ice and the fire.
No, I do not. I just ice and fire I do because I like that. But I like getting creative. And my favorite form of creativity is when you take something destructive and you make it constructive, or that is my favorite flavor. But fire and ice is generally the way that he's been going. How do you think about this Scorcher spell?
Yeah, so there's Agonizer Scorchers. Again, there's no bad evocation spell. You're going to get much better ones at 3rd level. I think what John's getting at is sometimes you might want to take utility spells that either save your bacon or save somebody else's bacon may be helpful.
I'm a vegetarian, and I'm a little bit of a firebug.
You're
burn somebody's bacon,
you're saving somebody's soy nuggets.
Ooh, whoa, that's
right.
That's very personal.
Or you're saving our own beef in the party, meaning Kalik.
I like weird things like skywriting.
Yeah, you can do whatever you want, but like Joe's mentioned, rope trick can be very useful, but it's only useful in certain situations, but it's awesome. But I don't know, Shatter is a great spell too. Is that evocation? Shatter's awesome.
Shatter's evocation, yeah.
Yeah. That's sound though, not fire and ice. So
what's it gonna be?
Well,
there's no rush. Take your time, because once you pick these, you got.
Oh, there's a rush.
There's rush. Okay, darkness is that's what Craig cast last time. That's huge.
No, I got it. I got it as a scroll.
Oh, you got a scroll.
We'll be able to get that later. Yeah, I wouldn't take anything you have as scrolls.
Yeah.
Okay.
We just need once we complete, just to kind of go while you're making a decision here. Well, maybe I'll go off site. So we really need to get some downtime for a lot of reasons. We have armor to size for Euphemia, armor to size for Cowlick. And the one person that really doesn't need any downtime is probably me. But we need it for Seppi for Pyric to get all of his spells switched over. But unfortunately, we are kind of in a time crunch with what's going on at Cragmaw Castle. So hopefully after that, we can get all our downtime in. But
why are we in such a time crunch in the game?
Theoretically, you're a prisoner.
Because there's a Frostbeard and a Rock Seeker that have been captured, and who knows what's being done to them. So it's kind of like
I like to take one destructive spell and one information or utility spell. That's generally my idiom.
That's a wise way to go.
How do you feel about locate object or knock?
Knock's awesome. Locate object always feels too short of a range to me, but I have heard in podcasts and stuff people use it and effectively. I've never been able to use it effectively. But.
I think those spells could be very powerful with you, the way you think, Seppi. Yeah. That could be.
I like levitate too. I feel like, I like that.
Locate objects.
Dan, do you have the ability to open locks? John, do you feel like locked doors is a thing?
Well, Euphemia can pick locks.
Yeah, Euphemia is the way to get through locks.
All right. I like hold person because I want to murder less people too.
The other problem with knock is just like Thunderwave, it makes a huge booming noise when you use it, so you can't even use it to sneak into things.
What does rope trick do?
Rope trick's phenomenal.
Awesome spell.
It opens up this little 5x5 square. I think it's 30 feet up to another little pocket dimension, and you have to have a rope to cast it. You climb up the rope. You can fit like 8 people in there. You pull up the rope. The opening is invisible. You can stay in there for an hour and spy out the opening. We used it in one campaign where we knew that there was a meeting happening between 2 bad guys. So we climbed up it, and then as they were talking, the one left, and we just kind of dropped down out of nowhere and then like jumped the guy. It was awesome.
Huh.
Like
that is a level of awesome that is so good. I feel as though I would have had to interact with it to include it in my character. I definitely want that to happen, right? It's amazing. But I don't feel like growing without role playing is the right idea. Right.
However you want to build your character.
Seppi, the whole party can climb up Pyrrhic's dark hole and hide in it safely.
My gosh.
How are you not picking that spell?
Somebody tried to talk me into that once. That's just a one-time thing. That's not, oh my gosh.
Fit all 8 of us in there. That's great.
Oh my gosh. I mean, that's some elderberry wine and some regret. That's what that is. Oh my gosh.
One of the handy things about rope trick, which kind of got glossed over, is that it's 1 hour, which is the exact time you need for a short rest. So if you need to hide from the enemies, you can get in there, take a short rest, get your hit points back. Get any recovery from a short rest, like spells.
I mean, it can be detected by detect invisibility, but no sound pass. You can't cast spells out of it. You can't shoot out of it. So it's not like you can be like, use it as a sniper thing, but also we used it a couple times. It's really cool spell to put on a scroll and not use a preparation for it to have for an emergency, because it doesn't come up all the time. But we used it again. We were in a tent and all of a sudden talking with these lizard men, and suddenly this guard comes up that was from this other group, and we had to hide. So we all just run up into the thing and hide while this guy shows up. So you can use it a lot of ways. It's a very interesting spell.
Yeah, and it's situational, but I think it's more useful than knock. Not as useful as levitate or spider climb, but
Probably about the same as locate object. Locate object seems a Pyric thing too, though.
yes.
All right. I think I'm going to do locate object because then it'll give me a chance to think about stuff and get creative.
Like that would have been useful to find. I don't know about the rift, but maybe the obelisk when we were.
Well, let's say, I'm not saying that this is true. There's coins at the bottom of a well.
Right.
We would know definitively if there are coins in the
Between that and
in
detect
this well.
magic, you'd know whether it was worth going down there.
Only
All
if
right.
Pyric would tell the truth.
Seppi, I like the way you're thinking.
All right. So
In a lead line chest.
So let me get this straight. We're getting locate objects so we can figure out what it's at the bottom of every well we come across.
that might be really the case. And now I took an ice spell before. Now I need to take a fire spell. What is my second level fire spell? I like Flaming Sphere.
Yes.
Yeah, like
Flaming
I
Sphere.
feel like this campaign has balls. Flaming big, huge balls. How about that? Or should I take the Scorcher?
Remember, the flaming large ball is actually very spongy. Just keep that in mind with the flaming spear. But my two favorite, flaming spear is awesome. It's a concentration spell. You can only have one going at a time, but it's a great spell. And because you can keep doing damage to people and bounce around, and it lights everything on fire. So it's a win-win. Scorching Ray does a lot more damage, and you get multiple rays as you get up in level.
Okay.
Or you can take Misty Step so you can run like the coward that you are.
I am a coward, and that was when we were talking about feats. Since Joe has mentioned that feat, I begged away from it, but I was going to take it for its pure cowardly delight. Since I've taken too much time already, I'm going to do Flaming Sphere because I like it, and I have fond memories of using it.
That's a
choice.
crowd pleaser.
Good reasons.
It is a crowd pleaser.
Also, I can speak from previous campaigns. If we get any downtime and we have any money in the party, you could search for scrolls at whatever town we are and maybe buy specific spells. Russ will have you roll, but he might have you use your arcane or your history, so it may benefit you too, or investigation or something.
All right, should I hit apply changes, Joe?
Done.
I have a question for you, Seppi, as it builds your character. I think that choosing the skill feat is fluffy, but I also think it's more powerful than people may realize. Did you have some thoughts on that, on how your skills actually can pay huge dividends?
As you know, I don't want to touch the dice. Nothing is as disappointing to me as when my character does not live up to what my character needs to do. Yes, and I'm like, And the revelation of our text chain is that Bag of Hammers and the group intellect about the same.
Yep.
And so I have to step up, not with being annoying and know-it-all, but actually to fill in the gap that there are some things that you require smarts to have happen. Also, I can see myself at, is it every 4 levels we get this option?
For everybody but a rogue fight, yeah, for wizards, correct.
I can see myself taking another +1 int feat and then another one of these, depending on how the party shakes out. The other thing that I was really eyeballing, of course, were things that help with escape and survivability or just flat out hit points. Like the fact that Craig's dragon character took 30 points of damage. I had 24 hit points.
Yeah, he only took 15 points of damage. He had resistance.
That's because he had natural resistance. Before, if he had failed his dice, which I assume I'm going to, yeah.
Yeah. You also notice that your 18 intelligence should be a +4 modifier. It only says 3 on there, and it does not give it to you in your skills as well. I would mention that.
See if you can manually change that. I don't know. It should have updated.
Updated what?
See your intelligence. It says 3.
Look at your intelligence. It's only a 3 above it. I don't know why that is.
That's funny because it said 4 when he was applying the changes.
Yes, and that's the first thing I noticed.
See if you can manually change the there you go. Now change it back to an 18. Should be
Yeah, there you
fine.
go.
There you go.
Yeah, so
Nice
one of
work,
the things
Brian.
you might want to think about in the future too, if you apply ability scores, you can add +1 to your dexterity and to your intelligence. That will give you +1 to AC, your armor class, initiative, and I guess that's all you get for that.
All right.
Wouldn't
All right, Joe, do you want to level up next?
Sure. You want to escape out of that screen, Seppi?
Yes, I want you to stop sharing. You all want me to stop sharing.
All right.
Then we'll do Doc.
So share screen. Here we go. This is, which one is this? Is this desktop? I think this is it. Maybe that's it. Can anybody see that or not?
Yep,
Yeah.
seeing it.
All right. There we go. So I'm going to expand my character sheet a little bit here so everybody can see the whole thing. And go down. All right. So we're going to level up. Launch Character Mancer. I'm going to go next. Start.
All right, and you are a paladin.
So I'm a Dwarven Paladin. So the things, Dwarven Paladins, I'm going more for fluff and fun. If I want to min-max my character, I'll be maxing out my strength hands down. I don't really need to worry about my other abilities until at least 6th level with my charisma. But we'll get to that in feats. And so as a Dwarven Paladin, strength is my main. You can do a finesse one with dexterity, but strength is my main attribute, just like intelligence was for Seppi's wizard. So I'm going to roll my dice, see what I get. It's going to give me 3 hit points. So I'm going to take my average, which is 6. And all I did is somewhere that will the thing, it just came out with my hit points. My minimum hit points I can get per level is 10. So my hit points go to 48 hit points. And you'll get class features and everything that's on there. There's really nothing to see that is worth looking at, or you can look up. Nothing's changing at this point for 4th level for me.
Okay.
So I'm going to continue with next. Martial versatility is my feature. There's nothing exciting there. So this is the big one. So again, if I wanted to min-max, I would go up my strength. However, and I have the only other odd attributes I have are wisdom and charisma. I could add +1 to those, or intelligence, make me not so dumb I wouldn't get a minus. However, we had talked about it before. There's a couple of feats that I really liked, and Shield Master is amazing. I use my bonus action to bash somebody, knock them prone, and they get advantage on my attacks for that. It's the bonus action as part of my attacks. It also allows me to add my armor class to my dexterity saves if I'm targeted with a saving throw. So it gives me a little bonus in saving throws for dexterity saves. Durable obviously adds hit points. There's a lot of things you can add on here, but I want to go with Fey Touched. And Fey Touched...
They just don't have touched.
Yes. I was touched by the Fey. So,
You're touched, all right.
So again, if I was min-maxing, I would go with strength or charisma. And because I'm a min-max, I'm going with charisma. And what that does, it doesn't do me any good right now. However, it does do me good. It adds me +1 spells that I can know, not cast, and +1 to my DC of spells that I cast.
Huh.
But when I hit 6th level, I have an aura that adds my charisma modifier to all saving throws I have and to anybody within 10 feet of me. So every character that's within 10 feet of me gets +3 to all their saves.
Wow.
He has to put up with his odor.
Yeah, so you got to be close to me. That'll be everybody that's not a bear that puts his butt in my face.
Hey, that's terrifying. Who would want to be that close to the front lines?
True.
You got to be a crazy person.
Now, this is where it gets interesting. I can have a divination or enchantment spell that I can pick that I can cast in addition to my regular spells. I always cast if I have the spell already, I can cast it multiple times. So I always cast Bless because I love that plus D4 to hit. That makes a huge difference. And we saw last game what a difference it made for Rafe. I actually may have made that save because I forgot to. It goes for saving throws as well as to hit, so I can make it for my concentration save to keep Bless up. I like the idea of taking Hex because I have Hunter's Mark already, but Hex would allow me to then target somebody and add a D6 damage in necrotic damage as opposed to what I'm using. However, it duplicates what Hex does. And of course, we saw how effective Heroism's been because Doc's cast that a bunch of times. So that came up. However, because I always cast Bless, and that's my kind of favorite spell. I've been hemming and hawing about this. I was going to go with Bless because that gives me one more casting of it per day.
Now, I have a question about that. Can you tell the listeners at home, what did you mean you can know one more spell but not cast one more spell? Can you go through how that works for a spell
I can normally cast at 4th level 3 cleric spells per day, or 3 paladin spells per day, pardon me. I can only know as many spells as my charisma modifier, which was 2, now it's going to 3. That's how many spells I can draw. Plus my level, half my level, rounded down. So at 3rd level, I could know 1, 3 rounded down is 1.5, so that's 1 spell. Charisma modifier of 2 would give me 3 spells that I could know. And that's all the spells that I would know between each long rest. By going to a 16 charisma, I now know 3 spells I can cast with my charisma modifier. 4 divided by 2, 4th level divided by 2 gives me 2. So now I know 5 spells I can draw off of. So I can know Bless and Cure Wounds and Shield of Faith and Hex or Hunter's Mark. Before I only had 3 to draw. What is that? Protection from Good and Evil. I could only know 3 spells before, but now I can know 5 spells. And now I get to cast them 4 times. Right? Because I had 3 spells. This ability gives me an extra casting with Bless. And so it gives me more spell goodness that I didn't have before. And Bless, as you notice, whenever I get hit, I fail my concentration, I lose it, spell's gone. And so the idea behind taking Bless is that I will have a better chance of holding on to that spell, which affects myself and up to 3 other people. The other thing is once I hit 5th level, I get 2nd level spells. If I cast Bless as a 2nd level spell, I can affect 4 characters, which is essentially almost the entire party if I exclude John, which would be my main goal.
Speaking of John, he's got a comment.
Are you saying no spells or prep spells?
The number of spells that I can draw off over cast between long rests.
Right, but you can pick. So you're a paladin, so you have to
pick. I can pick any of them. I can pick any spell, but and that was the temptation of taking hexes. It's not on my spell list, but if it's on my spell list, I get 1 more casting of it.
No, I'm confused because I thought 5e uses spell slots.
It does, but I only have 3 spells that I can cast, or 3 spell slots. But for example, as a wizard, he has to memorize he might have a spell book with 12 spells in it or 20 spells. He can only learn that day X number of spells, his intelligence modifier plus his level. A paladin is the same way. I can only know between each long rest, only be able to draw, even though I have a huge spell list, only have before 3 spells ready to go. Now I can have 5 spells ready to go. So before I didn't have a Cure Light Wound spell because I didn't have enough spell slots. But now I may not cast it, but I have the ability to cast it. Yes, Effie.
The confusing thing is Joe is mixing terms.
True.
So you have to so you have prepared spells and then you have like known spells. So certain classes can only know certain spells. Like the bard has to pick certain spells they know. And then once they know them, they don't have to prepare them. That's their list they can cast. Everybody has spell slots. But slots are how many of the spells you either have prepared or that you know, depending on your class, is how many times you can cast those and what level is based on your slots.
So why did Pyric, then me? Pyric.
So do I currently have 8 spells that I can have the red dot next to?
Yes. So Seppi, you have prepared spells as well. And your function as a wizard is you go and you get the number of spells per your level plus your ability modifier. And in your case as a wizard, it's intelligence. So you have 4 plus 4. So you have 8 spells that you can prepare a day. So the wizard sits down and his list of spells he can prepare from are what are in his spell book. And so the more he puts in the spell book, the more he can choose from every time he takes a long rest. And he can have a certain, you know how you have like a loadout in a video game? Well, he can have certain loadouts depending on what he wants to do. If he wants to be like all firepower, he can have all evocation spells, whatever. So he can be flexible. Most religious classes, druids, clerics, and paladins, they know all of the spells on their spell list and can prepare a number also. So for partial casters, like rangers and paladins, they get half their level plus the modifier.
But why did Joe pick bless twice if it's spell slots?
Well, because it's not a slot.
Because that's a spell I automatically. It's a great question. That's a spell I automatically. In other words, that's a spell that I have no matter what. So I have to.
He already has it prepared. So instead of taking a preparation to put bless in, he automatically has it prepared as a separate preparation.
Right.
So it gives him a different, more flexibility to prepare a different spell.
Right.
I don't get it.
So you don't get it?
No, because you've already got bless. And if you have a spell slot, why can't you just go bless, bless, bless 3 times?
How many
I could, but I wouldn't be able to cast, and that's great because you just hit the nail on the head. I have 3 castings, and bless is one of the spells which I always pretty much want to keep on hand.
Right.
So I always want to prepare it. So that I want to pick a spell here that I have to keep on hand because I have to. One of the spell castings I have has to be bless. If I choose to
pick it twice,
he's not taking it twice. So
I'm not taking it twice.
They're 2 different things. You're right, Rafe. He can, as long as he has bless prepared, he can use all his spell slots on it. That's on one thing. But what this feat is allowing him to do, it automatically makes bless prepared. So now with his normal preparations, he can pick something different for flexibility.
Oh.
So now he always has bless ready. And instead of preparing bless using one of his preparation slots, he can pick cure wounds or something. So if he gets in a pinch where he doesn't want to use all of his slots on bless, he now has the option to use it on a different spell like cure wounds.
Okay. So in a weird kind of way, it's like he's got a rune. He can tap the rune and bless will pop out of it.
Right. Well, it just makes it so he can always access bless as one of his.
Oh my God. I never would have figured that out from reading it.
Right.
Yeah.
And here's the next big thing too, is that I can always, if I choose, let's say cast bless with my regular spell casting or never get a chance to cast bless because it's an action, I can still turn it into a smite. And so my paladin allows me to turn my spell slots as a smite. Normally I have 3 spell slots. So I'm kind of, if I cast bless, I only get 2 more smites between my next long rest. Now I can cast bless and still have 3 spells, 3 smites.
Got it.
That's the other piece, Rafe. I'm just reading now. Not only is it takes away 1 preparation he has to do, he can cast those without expending a slot.
Right.
So he basically functionally gets an extra slot for it. So.
Okay. Got it. And what's the name of this feat?
This is called Fey Touched, which is which again, every in the original player's handbook, almost no, with very few actors, the only one that I can think of, feats give you +1 to charisma. And charisma is a big deal for certain classes, bards, paladins, warlocks, sorcerers, a big deal. And the Tasha's Cauldron, a lot of the feats give you +1 to this. And what they do is allows you to pick +1 to your intelligence, wisdom, or charisma. So as a spellcaster, you can choose what's better for you.
I see.
So those spell slots, and if I wanted to do, for example, Magic Initiate, which would allow me to have 2 cantrips, which would be awesome because I have no ranged attacks as a paladin, and get a first level spell. So it gives me essentially the same thing, but I wouldn't get the +1 charisma. Okay. And getting a and I could have picked, for example, the warlocks for a cantrip. I could have picked Arcane Blast, Eldritch Blast, which gives me an awesome ranged attack, which again I have no access to. But Fey Touch means it makes more sense to me, and we just got a warlock in the party. I don't want to steal the thunder of anybody else. I don't want to duplicate other class features that are happening. It's having a party of rogues who's going to pick the locker, all fighting over it. And so this seemed to me like a fun way to do that and get it both out of there. So it gives me essentially 5 spell slots. I get a Misty Step and Bless always once a day for long rest. My 3 regular spells, so I can cast my Bless, smite 3 times, and if I get in trouble, I can Misty Step into damage, into battle, or away from it.
Okay.
Right. So that's kind of how I'm thinking of it, and it's kind of cool because I smashed that, and that's why I debated taking Hex to replace Hunter's Mark, because Hex does my weapon damage with D6. Hex does necrotic damage. When I hit that rift, it was necrotic damage. So it'd be kind of neat if my Hunter's Mark was tainted with necrotic damage. And I thought there'd be kind of a neat, thing to the side. But I don't know. Yeah, we'll see if I use it or if, I'll talk to Russ about that. But Bless is kind of my go-to thing.
All right, Pyric.
Well, I like this as a choice because the Lady of the Glade is a turning point for the party. Like, somebody had to take this benefit, and you became Dwarf Major during that exchange in the last 2 exchanges for that reason. And so I think that's good. Like, if dragon cultists are the reason that everything went bad shit in the Glade, somebody should have gotten the benefits from it. And it wasn't a giant spider. I'm just saying. It wasn't a giant spider.
True. All right. So I'm going to click next. And now, as far as spells go, you can see the spells. These are all the spells that are available to me. And I'm just going to click on, I think, Thunderous Smite, because one of the smites, I can't take it. I'll do it later. But one of the smites, which I like, is Thunderous Smite, because like that Shield Bash, it doesn't do as much damage as my regular smite, but it knocks them prone. And prone people, everybody else attacking gets advantage to hit. So it makes a big difference being able to hit somebody. But these are the spells that I try and have prepared each time. And now we just talked about this. I have Bless. I can take that off the list. And then I can have 5 more spells. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I can take Detect Magic off. And add, can I add this on here? No, I can't. Anyway, but that's it. But these are the spells I normally take right there. So you're looking at it. And so it's a nice little setup. And here's a question, John. I never take Bane or Hunter's Mark. They're oath spells. Are those automatically known? Are those in addition to?
They're automatically prepared, so they don't take up preparation slots.
Oh, nice.
They're always ready, yeah.
All right, because I might have cast a Hunter's Mark.
Yeah, your oath spells are always available too.
All right, sweet. I didn't know that. All right, so there's everything. So that finishes me. So I'm going to review it.
I think you get Misty Step as one of your oath ones.
I get Misty Step too, yeah. But that's
which is awesome.
Yeah, that's coming up. But I'll be able to cast that one more time than normal because of this thing. So I haven't gained any spells, so I'm applying changes, and that should make my character back to the core. So that's it. And so there we go. So there's my guy. And
nice.
I put in my battle axe, my Hunter's Mark, and crossbow and hand axe. Got everything in there, so we're good to go. I'm going to cease to share screen, and we'll go to the next person here.
The people listening, this is actually a super, normally you can sort of figure out what we've got going on by how we're talking about it because we're imagining it too. But this is very crunchy. We're looking at charts, looking at things, poking stuff. Yeah. This is a very video experience. We should probably talk through what we're futzing with, why we futz with it.
I talked about feats. One of the big feats I was thinking about taking is Resilience Constitution. And that would add my proficiency. First of all, I would get my Constitution. I would add my proficiency bonus onto my saves, my Constitution, giving me a +5 con save instead of a +3. If you're looking at what I'm highlighting here. And then when I turn 6th level, I'll get to add my Charisma, giving me a +8 to my con save. And the reason that would be a big deal, if I have a concentration spell, that means I only fail that concentration on a 1 or a 2.
Oh, wow.
On a D20. So if I get hit, unless they have to do 20 points or less, a 3 or better, and I save it. If I have Bless up, I can't fail that save, unless I guess 1's an automatic fail, but I can't fail it because I'm automatically going to roll a 1. And I get that for all saves. And that's a big deal when you're fighting Dragon Breath, things like that. And you can take Resilience for dexterity or so whatnot to add your proficiency bonus to your dex save, minor Wisdom and Charisma. All other martial classes get their ability added to Constitution. Only Paladins get it to their Charisma and Wisdom. And theoretically, I'm supposed to be mentally tough so people can't possess me. That's the difference. And fighters can make the difference.
All right, let's put Kalik in there.
Yeah, let's do this. I'm stop sharing. Kalik, you're up.
All right. I'm really looking forward to seeing Misty Step come into play and watching Ulrich jumping up in front of Thrall or some type of shenanigans. I see Misty Step occurring, but I'm still really sad we're not climbing up Pyrrhic's dark hole. So,
I have an ability called Dwarven Step. So after Ulrich Misty Steps and gets knocked on his ass to the ground and is prone, I Dwarven Step over him into combat.
What does Misty Step do for those not knowing?
Misty Step is a great spell. It's a bonus action, so you can cast it in addition to your regular action. and allows you to teleport, I believe, up to 30 feet.
Wow.
Instantaneously. So you just
phenomenal because you don't have to think linear plane either. You can go up and down too.
Up, down, sideways, anywhere. So if you get stuck, let's say somebody's up on a bridge and you can't get to them, because remember I have no range, I can teleport up to it, that 30 feet range.
All right, and Doc, what's it like playing? You're a Minotaur, or are you a half Minotaur?
Yeah, I'm a full Minotaur. Yeah, Minotaur Bard. So I was trying to pitch a Bard barbarian to Russ, and so he came up with this as my.
What are the racials of a Minotaur?
I have like the horns. The horns give me like. Let me see. When I get there, I can show it off. I don't have it memorized. I look at it in my sheet every single time.
Okay.
To get there, but all right, rolling initiative first. Let's see. Can I get better than
hit points?
Oh, 7.
Yeah, there you go.
I am taking that. All right, cool. Consider that a success.
Yep.
Okay. All right. It's generating here. Yeah. So I'm a College of Valor Bard. Let's see here.
Oh, one of the things, can you add your inspiration die to your armor class too, or how does that work?
No, I don't think so. Just to
his bonus is normally you can add it to a skill check or to hit, but he can I don't remember if you can even add it to saves, but he can add it because he's Valor, if the person using it can add it to damage. That's the bonus.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think it's let's see here. Yeah, 1 ability check, attack roll, or saving throw.
Okay.
You can add it on to. And this is, I can do it a number of times equal to my charisma modifier, which right now is a 3. Mm-hmm. So that is a big thing for me because right now I'm a 16. So I'd have to do the 2 bonus and forego the feat. But I'd get 1 more bardic inspiration, which would
Now I'm noticing that you're 18 strength, but yet you don't necessarily play him as the charge into melee. Are you bummed that it's 18 and you wished your charisma was 18?
No, it's kind of nice because when I've picked my spells, I've tried to choose a little bit more utility spells because I can toe to toe, especially with that +1 sword. I tend to hit and then I do a decent amount of damage.
You're as good in combat as I am. The difference is your armor class is lower.
Right.
Oh, I expect once you get half plate up, your armor class will be better than mine. So
Yeah.
I think you're wrong. He charges a lot and ends up on the ground or bonked on the head. We've heard recaps in rhyme for a reason.
Yep.
I do not feel like Cowlick is particularly shy about combat. He is almost as brave as Pyric, just almost.
I figure Calyx heard so many stories of bravery that he's willing to run in there, swing his sword, and then get beaten up.
Yeah, he is. That's a solid. College of Valor is my favorite. I think it's a solid choice.
That flexibility to do that extra damage with the inspiration is pretty sweet.
Yes.
All right, let's see here. So, we can talk feats. I'm really leaning towards doing the 2 to my charisma.
Yeah, charisma is huge for you because not only does it add to your bardic inspiration, your performance, your deception, anything charisma. It also is your for you. It affects your spell DC too for when people are trying to overcome your spell.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Yep. Yeah.
And
right now,
it's your to hit with spells too if you have to roll those.
Yep. Yeah. I've got performance and persuasion right now. Yeah. Deception. Yeah. Performance and persuasion. And so that would be pretty sweet to get the extra bonus.
John, one of the questions I've had about spellcasters too is, I kind of always have the mistaken belief that spells always just hit. I keep thinking they're all like magic missile. How do you know when you're using your to hit modifier when you're casting a spell?
So what they did in 5th edition is they really made a big push with all casters to actually have to roll to hit with a lot of spells. A lot of them are cantrips. So you usually have either have a area effect spell, or you have a save spell that either misses or hits on the save, or you have a roll to hit. The save spells are neat because usually they do half the damage unless they're a cantrip. Sometimes they just straight out miss. So the save is neat because you don't have to roll the hit if the person has a particularly hard armor class or something. Because when you have to roll the hit, it's just like everybody else, but you use your ability modifier based on your class. For bards, it's charisma. For For wizards, it's intelligence, and for druids, it's wisdom. So
And it says it in the spell description?
The spell description says whether you're rolling to hit or not. The neat thing about rolling to hit in this edition is if you critical when you roll to hit with a spell, you still double all your dice.
Oh, okay.
Which is awesome.
Yeah. And I was going to say, and the big thing, the bards are full casters in this edition, which means that it's a huge deal. For me, I'm a half caster. It's not a big deal. But for Seppi and to go to the 18 or to Doc to go to 18, it's a huge deal to get that bump because it's all your save DCs, number of spells to hit, everything like that goes with it.
So I have a question about Doc. Doc going up 2. His charisma right now is a 16.
Mm-hmm.
And if he goes to 17, am I correct that gives him a 4? No. He has to go to 18 to get the 4.
Right.
Yep.
It's only on the even.
Okay.
Exactly. And so like inspiring leader is pretty appealing. I spoke to Rafe about it on the phone and he kind of convinced me that it could be appropriate because I really don't see Calic as a leader, but I definitely do. I do the inspiration bit. And so maybe just a different form of inspiration. But here again, like my charisma modifier does matter with that inspiring leader, right? Choose up to 6 friendly creatures, which can include yourself, which is pretty awesome because I actually can't bardic inspire myself.
And what does it do again, inspiring leader?
So, six friendly creatures within 30 feet of me who can hear me and understand me. They each gain temporary hit points equal to my level, which would be 4. My charisma modifier, which right now is a 3, so that totals 7 temporary hit points. They gain those until they finish a short or long rest. So,
Yeah.
especially like for Pyrrhic. I mean, Pyrrhic with 28 would now have 7 more, right? I mean, that's about 25% more hit points throughout the day until we would take a short or long rest.
It scales with level, so every level you go up 1 more hit point. You're not limited to 6 creatures. You can do it 10 minutes. If there's 60 creatures, you could do it every 10 minutes and get everybody with the temporary hit points. It's just 10 minutes per 6 creatures. So you could have, if you have a larger group that you're trying to inspire, it's a crazy. And if you think about it, if you're 10th level or let's say 8th level with and you take a 16 con, you're adding 14 hit points to every member of the party. Suddenly you're looking at 14 hit points times 6 characters, right? That's a lot of damage that the monsters have to do to take before they start hitting your real hit points. And
Wow.
a heal is a lot of damage, a lot of spell slots.
So what are you thinking, Doc?
I'm still leaning towards the charisma, but
I would go, Doc, my advice, this is what I say to Euphemia all the time. My counsel is that you take charisma at 4th level and do inspiring leader at 8th level.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. The other thing that was really kind of pulling me was, I think it's called Magic Initiate. That's the one that's the 2 cantrips and the 1 spell. Because I have enjoyed casting, but I'm not. That puts me, I feel like, way behind on the charisma. And looking over the spells too, I didn't really see anything that was like super appealing.
Problem with bards, they have very little attack spells in their cantrips.
Right.
You're limited to Dissonant Whispers, I believe, is the only attack spell,
Vicious Mocker.
which is a D4 and doesn't scale very well.
Right.
And so that's the or was it? It's the taunting one. Anyone about there? But
It's a
there's only
D4, but it gives. If the problem is, it's a save or nothing.
right.
The D4, but it gives them disadvantage. Sorry, go ahead, Seppi.
All this dwarven quibbling. Doc, I think you should reverse your min-max decision and go with the role play decision because I am thinking of 4 levels of hearing you lay down a sick rhyme inspiring us before every day. Like that would be just a joy for me as a player. And obviously I'm a coward and I'm really concerned about my lack of hit points. And so maybe you should reverse your decision and not take the min-max decision, but instead keep yourself off of the recap list by giving yourself hit points, giving my coward hit points, and giving me a player an opportunity to listen to your sick rhymes.
You can see where the synergy is. If you have Rope Trick, he can do that between a short or long rest. So you could literally give everybody hit points. We get in trouble. We go into Rope Trick. He does it again, and that short rest, everybody comes out with another, hit points. Again, if he didn't take it at 8th level, and again, I'll let you make the decision based on what you want to do. Again, your charisma is going to be more important to you.
Yeah.
Inspiring leader is more important to the party. But I would do that at 8th level myself.
The joy of listening to it for the next 4 levels
could be worth it.
Real for me.
I have been wondering.
It's going to be 2025 before your 8th level. So
Right.
That's right.
That's true too. Yep. How are we going to handle temp HP and taking damage? Right. You're still taking damage, even though you have temp HP. I think we have to resolve this.
Yeah, on your character sheet, there's going to be. I know.
For recap
he's talking about the
the recap.
Who says the recap?
Yeah, who says the recap?
The guideline I've been going with is Detroit 6 o'clock news from the 80s. If it bleeds, it leads.
So whoever takes the most hit points, regardless of temporary hit points.
Right. It's actual damage. It's actual pain.
Damage. All right.
Actual damage? Okay.
So we can't role play for a whole 2 hours, otherwise there's no recap.
No, you two would disagree with each other. One of you would take an actual point of damage, and then I would laugh.
I'll tell you what, if it gets to the end of our session and nobody's taking any damage, I will just smack Ulrich in the nose.
So if I would take Inspiring Leader, is there a good chance that some other temp HP thing would come up that would sort of override the utility of it? You know what I mean? From another party member?
There's nothing better than that for temporary hit points on a regular basis. It's a great question. There are other feats, and I said, and here's a good question, Wraith, are you going to take Chef? If you're going to take Chef, it certainly makes more sense. Now, in this is, you had talked to us before,
right?
Talk about building on each other. If Wraith takes Chef, he's going to be able to treat 2 people to 2 temporary hit points per short rest.
I'm not going to take Chef, I figured, because it is a cool feat, but the bonus only goes to Wisdom and Constitution. If it had Dex, I would have been tempted.
It's a terrible feat compared to an Inspiring Leader, but it was, I didn't want to step on your toes. You take Chef, and all of a sudden here comes Cowlick saying, whatever, your Chef is useless because I'm giving him 7 hit points and you're giving him 2. The 2 people.
Doc, if you take Inspiring Leadership, you might want to switch out Knowing Heroism, though.
Oh, yeah. No, that's a good idea. Yeah, you're right. And then I won't be so tempted to cast it on Pyrrhic all the time, too, which I feel mildly bad about. I'm torn each time I do it.
He'll be hiding in the house behind us anyway. It's okay.
Yeah.
I'm torn. You make me do things I naturally would not want to do.
You know what I could do too with Inspiring Leader is you could make breakfast, Rafe, and then I could use raisins or something and spell out inspiring quotes on the oatmeal.
Yes, exactly.
A workaround for Chef.
Smiley face.
Exactly.
Yes, a smiley face.
Doc, this is why this is for you. You will have your moment to shine, your well thought out moment that while you're doing your important day-to-day stuff, you're like, oh, I'm saving that for Monday. And this is a treat that we should all embrace.
Right.
Yeah, this does it. Yeah, especially from a group. And we haven't got a large group right now too. And so it creates an extra bit of value for this. So yeah, I think the role play here, I'll go with Inspiring Leader.
Oh, I like it.
Well, that's huge. Everybody's going to have 7 hit points every short rest. It's awesome.
All right. Okay.
Except for the bear. Nobody likes the bear.
Now, I think, so let's see.
Don't keep nodding your head at me, John.
This is something I didn't do before. I can change out one of my spells that I know.
Change out heroism.
Yeah, that's right.
What's letting you do that? Because you're 4th level now?
Every level of spellcaster can swap out 1 spell.
Yep.
That they know?
Right. So it only depends. It only matters if you're a class that knows spells.
Okay.
Right. Seppi doesn't get that option because he's got a spell book.
He gets to know them all if he can collect them all.
That's right. It's like Pokemon.
Gotta catch them all.
Yeah, I'm going to get people's red balls in my hand. And
geez.
Well, you did take Flaming Sphere.
You can only concentrate on 1 at a time, though, Seppi.
Joe's got some ointment at his apothecary for Flaming Sphere.
We'll help you. We'll take care of that for you.
Our campaign is going to have balls. Flaming balls.
So yeah, and you got geez, you're full caster, so you got 2nd level spells to pick from too, which is awesome.
I do, yeah.
Please take anything that allows you to look like a bugbear.
Alter self.
That'd be cool.
I really
No,
want
not
to.
take that. You might
Guy
get,
self can make you look like a bugbear, but I don't know if you want it.
Oh, it's one. Oh, Blade Ward's one action.
yeah, it's tough because you've taken it. This is the big thing with spells that I find is if you're a caster like Seppi, you're like, big deal, it's an action. But if you're a man of action like Karlik, you want to be in the thick of things. You would rather be swinging your sword than spending an action casting a spell. So if I can't get Bless off before the combat starts, it ain't going to happen. It's just going to turn into a smite. And so it's a nice little benefit, but not a huge thing.
All right.
What do you think? Talk out loud so we know what you're thinking about.
Yeah. So, all right. I'm looking at cantrips. Apparently, I had one open spell to know for cantrips. So I'm opting for Prestidigitation here, but only because I do like to use spells in unusual ways. And that would give me some.
Yeah. Prestidigitation's phenomenal.
But you can't see in the dark, so light, mage hand, prestidigitation. Those are the three that I picked one of those. But you're
light's interesting.
Dancing lights too.
Yeah, either one of those, just so you can see in the dark. I think everybody else in the party has dark vision, except for Euphemia. Is that right? Do you have dark vision, Rafe?
Yeah.
So you're the only one that can't see when lights go out. Ironically, and Craig's character he's a warlock that took the double sight, so he can see in darkness and magical darkness, which makes him a little bit cooler than the rest of us.
One of my favorite images from the campaign is Cowlick with candles in his horns. So if he picked a spell that's the embodiment of that, like dancing lights,
yeah,
I like that as a flavor.
Mm-hmm.
But light is always good. You know, if you drop a dwarf down the well, you can ignore them by making everybody night blind by flashing lights in their eyes. Yep. This is the common use of light.
It's interesting. The light actually can be colored as you like. I didn't realize that. Also, completely covering this object with something opaque. Oh, okay. Oh, I see what it's saying. Yeah, you can cover it to block the light.
I'll tell you the other thing, which one of the spells which I think is underrated is Fairy Fire. I think is freaking awesome. And that's everybody in a 20 by 20 cube. So it's like a fireball cube. If you hit them, they fail their save. Everybody gets the advantage to hit them. And but I think that's, you remember, watch your concentration spells. And that's, you can't have too many of those. Yeah. Heat metal is crazy awesome. If it's an armored opponent, because that's just a nasty spell. Hold person is just a way to kill people, but Seppi's got it already. I'm sorry, knock them out.
Disguise self. You're a bugbear.
Bugbear, yeah. See invisibility is good. He's got locate object already.
Disguise self is really useful usually in Russ's campaign. So.
Yeah, and you get to pick 2 spells. So pick any. Well, actually, no. How's it work?
These are the cantrips.
No, he gains an additional cantrip now.
Oh, he gains an additional. Okay.
He gained 1 now because they only start with 2. They're underpowered in cantrips, bards. The only place they're really lacking, because otherwise they kind of do. Again, they're really well thought out classes, I think.
Let me see. If I went with Silent Image, concentration up to 10 minutes, 60 feet, 1 action. Let's see here. No larger than a 15 feet cube. Lasts for duration purely visual, not accompanied by sound, smell, or sensory.
That's the one you. Oh no, wait, that was minor illusion. Never mind.
This one can alter appearance so that its movements appear natural for the image. So I could make something appear like it's walking or otherwise moving.
Could always take mirror image, and then there'd be 4 Cowlicks.
I like that.
I'd call bull on that. Do you have Healing Word? I don't even know. Do you have Healing Word?
I do have Healing Word. Yeah, I've got Charm Person.
Everything else you just have fun with. Then Healing Word is the only one that's like a must-have spell.
Gotcha. Yeah, I think I'm going to go with Silent Image.
I like some illusions.
I couldn't break. Yeah, with just minor illusion. And it's similar to disguise. All right, let's see here. Okay, so now the second level, that was to replace heroism, which I got rid of because of inspiring leadership.
Correct.
It's all right. Second level, you were saying heat metal?
If it's an armored, for second level, heat metal is one of my favorites if it's an armored opponent, because it's just nasty as far as if somebody walks out with armor, they're taking 2d8 damage as long as you're concentrating on it every round. Then hold person invisibility, lesser restoration. Those are all awesome. I think Phantasmal Force is awesome too. That's like a go if you're going the illusion route. It's an intelligence save, and it. Let's see, what does it do? I think it does a lot of like it's the each take 1d6 psychic damage. Well, that's here. Let me just read. I want to read Phantasmal.
Oh, Kala, could you please take silence and cast it on Ulrich every game?
It's only 10 minutes, but yeah, you can do that.
As long as Pyrrhic's standing beside him, I'm good.
What?
I don't think that works on Pyrrhic.
Probably not.
He gets advantage to avoid it.
Resistant.
For the record, I almost took the telepathic ability, so my thinking out loud became a real thing for the whole party.
That'd be funny.
That thematically, that is still in the wings.
That would be awesome, by the way. I would love that.
That is hysterical to me.
Yeah, when we get to higher level, you'll have to take Rari's telepathic bond so we can all talk to each other that way.
Sweet. Did we lose Craig? I was very excited about.
Yeah, I think he got stuck in a snowstorm.
It's a snowstorm going on here. We're getting like a foot of snow tonight, and he was at a Boy Scout thing, and so I think he's crawling home.
Got it.
Yeah, so do you want a damage spell? What kind of spell are you looking for?
I'm thinking damage because I took Detect Thoughts last time. That was my utility pick for second.
Yeah, and the only problem with heat metals, they have to have metal on them.
Right.
It could be a weapon. It could be armor. Armor is the big thing because they're trying to just disrobe.
Yeah, but that could be really useful to make somebody drop their cool weapon or something. That could be awesome.
Right.
But they got to have metal. They got to have metal.
Yeah, and if they don't drop it, they have disadvantage on attack rolls. It looks like there's no save, right?
There's no save. You just take it.
Yeah, I mean that. Yeah.
Wow, that's deadly.
I'm game for that. And then the damage.
So there's a Constitution saving throw to see if they drop a weapon, something like that, though.
To Constitution save or drop the object if it can. If it doesn't drop the object, like your armor, that has disadvantage on attack.
Well, armor you can't drop, but that's only if they're holding an item.
You just take it. You just take 2d8 damage every round.
Yeah, if you're wearing armor, you just take it.
Yeah,
That's huge.
That's sweet. I like it.
That's about everything except for leather. Okay, because studded leather has metal in it. You name it, they just take it.
I don't know if I would rule studded leather because the studs are on top of the leather.
You're not the DM in this game.
No, but I know the DM.
My studded leather definitely has protective leather on the other side.
So that's right.
I'm not letting that cold leather touch my
I'm
skin.
pretty sure that was on a MythBusters episode, Joe, and you lose.
I'm gonna have beer cast snowball swarm at me if you hit me with heat metal.
All right, Talek, level 4.
Done.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
It's my turn, right? It's all right that Craig's not here, though, because he just joined the party, so nobody cares about him leveling, right?
Yeah, and he should still just be level 3.
Care. I care.
We love you,
Yeah.
Craig.
All right. Can you guys see that?
Oh yeah.
See Joe's cat.
Right? That thing loves the computer. Jesus.
All right, so
Yeah.
you as a druid, what are you thinking?
All right. So anyway, let's get this ball rolling. I got to go to my little gear thing here and do my advanced level thing. My screen is like flashing. I'm not sure why that is. But.
Next. You're using your memory up. Next. No, next.
All right.
Roll.
I think it's because I popped it out of here and I shouldn't have.
That's right. So just roll hit points.
All right, hang on. Yeah, so now it should stop flashing, I think. All right. So got to go over the roll for hit points. Oh, look at that. Maxed out. Who's got this system hacked? This guy.
It's not doing anything on the screen, our screens.
Oh, it's not sharing anymore?
No.
Oh,
It's on the other
paused.
screen. You got an 8.
All right, hang on a second. It says it paused for a second. Share screen. Let's go to.
So I'm viewing it, but it didn't show up the 8 on my screen.
Now you guys will see yourselves again.
There you go.
Awesome. All right. All right. So it maxed out the hit points, so I just got to go next, right?
Yep.
Circle of a moon. There's nothing to do on this screen, right? I don't get anything cool except an ability increase. My B shape now lasts 2 hours instead of 1 hour, so there's a
Creepier.
As long as you're quiet.
right. That's true. It's less talking that I have to take up in the thing. That's one way. I'm going to pick a feat. I could have added to something too. I could have popped my wisdom up to 20. This is probably the best stats I've ever rolled for a character in my Dungeon Dragons career. So I figure I'm just going to keep them. And I'm going kind of with the animal theme. So along the lines of Wolverine, who I named my daughter Logan after, I'm going to go with alertness.
Nice.
And so alert is cool because it gives you +5 to bonus to initiative, which I need horribly bad because I can't roll above a 5 for initiative every time. But the cool thing about it is you can't be surprised. So you know how when they get those surprise rounds on you and everybody gets to go before you? Well, you literally can't be surprised. So it's going to be good for when I'm on watch for the party. So other creatures don't get advantage on you if they're being unseen. So you know how Euphemia hides and then shoots people? If they had alert, you don't get advantage on them for that. So you wouldn't get your sneak attack and all that. So it's great if we have any bad person coming after us. So it's pretty straight up.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, it's I've seen it used a couple of times. I really like it. It kind of fits the whole animal thing. So
Yeah, now even if you roll like a 3 on initiative, you're still going on 12.
yeah, so right. So I'm in decent shape for that. And then I can always raise my ability when I get to 8th level or if and when we get to 8th level. So
Yeah, well, you take the stats of your beast, so it's not as huge for your stats.
Well, actually, interestingly, when you switch to your wild shape, you actually keep your intelligence, wisdom, and charisma stats of your character.
Oh.
But as far as the other stats, I do take them, so it makes no sense to raise my dex or constitution or strength. So, all right, so that's it. So it's very straightforward. I get a new cantrip also. I was going to take Mold Earth because it seemed very right on for a Guardian of the Earth. But then I thought somebody's got to fix this statue. And Karlik really wants it fixed, so I'm going to take Mending just to fix this friggin' statue.
Ooh, I like it.
Oh.
And also, I figured it could help with any other like, I can fix Euphemia's leather that has holes in it from the spiders. I just got to tap it, fix. Also, I'm going to run this by Russ, but this is what I'm thinking, Rafe. You know how your arrows break?
Yeah.
You can mend those suckers. I just thought of that today. So what we could do is try to convince him instead of it breaks on a 1, 2, or 3, it only breaks on a 1 or something. We can't.
Oh, I like it.
So we'll try to get that by him.
Yeah, I'm keeping track. I'm down to like.
Hopefully he doesn't listen to this before I push that on him. So, so anyway, that's why I'm going with Mending. I feel it'll be useful. Between Prestidigitation that now Karlik has and Mending, we should never have any dirty or torn clothes or armor. So
Perfect.
because Prestidigitation, they can just Karlik can snap his fingers and we're clean.
Huh.
Maybe it won't get rid of the odor on Ulrich, but you know.
That's natural. It's my musk.
Yeah, that's like the real deal.
The smell of Moradin.
I don't really need to pick spells right now because mine are prepped. I just get 1 additional prep, but I think I knocked out. Yeah, I took out my. I took out Healing Spirit for Pass Without Trace, but it has them both marked off here already. So it looks like I already have 8.
Yep.
4, 5. Well,
The
actually,
musk of Moradin must be the smell of the eternal locker room.
Yeah, I think I get Healing Spirit at 5th level too. So if we get that, that's huge because 2d6.
I wonder. I didn't even know Find Familiar was a thing for druids.
I didn't
Yeah,
know
me
it
neither.
It's on my list. It's on my list, and it says class spell. I don't even know what that. Why that is.
No.
Huh.
Oh boy, that's gonna be annoying. John with a familiar.
Might have to do that. Yeah, if I get. I don't know if that's the thing. I guess I'll look into it later. I don't
Once you
know.
have a lot of gold, you'll be running out of gold to cast a spell. It's 10 gold every time you cast it.
It's really weird that that's a. It's a wizard spell. I don't know
Yeah,
why.
I just don't know why it's on your list.
It seems
Either we're
broken.
being hacked or Craig's coming in.
I
Yeah.
don't know what's going on there.
But yeah. Yep, it's definitely 0808. Coming in.
Craig's coming in. Oh, good, because that's perfect timing. Because I think I'm done.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to go next. I'll play because like I said, all my spells are preparation spells, so I can switch them every short rest or long rest. I mean, long rest, not short rest.
Right.
I selected alert. You've gained the class feats, ability score, yeah, blah blah blah. You've learned these spells. I don't know why it's giving me Find Familiar. It says I learned at this level. I'll have to look it up.
Congratulations.
Yeah. Maybe it's something new in Tasha's where they're like, hey, Druid should have Find Familiar. And that should be it. I think I'm all saved.
Yep.
Craig, are you that long string of numbers and letters?
Well, I will stop sharing.
I guess so. Can you hear me?
Can hear you.
It shows a bunch of junk for your picture.
That's weird.
There's no picture. It says you are 08 UTJ 873 4UT ...
Thank you, TY.
You can start sharing your screen and stuff because we're all done.
Yeah, why don't you Rafe? Why don't you go next?
I'll share next.
I thought about Rafe because he was hosting.
I actually have some questions for you guys.
All right, we got answers.
Joe took up a lot of time, so if you don't have time, Craig, it's his fault.
True. You can
All right, are you seeing my screen now?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to roll for my hit points. I've got 28.
Oh, I see you now, Craig. You're not just a set of numbers.
There's me.
Roll the 3, so I'll take the average.
Yep.
And for Scout Rogue, I am... Now, the text chain had me taking dexterity, but what's interesting is the question I have for you guys is my dex is already at 17.
So do 18, 16.
So if I pump in 2.
I would take 1 point dexterity, 1 point charisma.
Yeah, so I was wondering if I should split it. Or do I go with the fluff and take some sort of feat with a +1 dex modifier?
Yeah, I just don't know which feats have it.
I don't think too many that have just a +1 dex modifier.
I looked it up. So one, because I view Euphemia as a bow fighter. She's not going to, again, hide from hand to hand, but I view that. Check out this piercer feat.
Oh, that's awesome. Wow. Best one for rogues right there, hands down.
Yeah. You get the +1 to dex, which is cool.
That's what
Once per turn, you hit a creature with an attack that deals piercing damage. You can re-roll one of the attack's damage dice.
Only one.
Only one. And if you score a critical hit, you get an extra piercing damage die.
Do it.
All right. Well, before we do that.
That was made for rogues, that one there. Oh, and for monks, by the way, Rafe?
Yeah.
Look at the Crusher one with hand to hand. That's made for monks. Holy crap.
All right. The other classic rogue feat is mobile. Okay.
I hate that because Joe uses it.
You get the extra 10 feet. And then when I use the dash action, I can ignore difficult terrain. So that's pretty huge. And if I make an melee attack, I don't provoke attack of opportunities, even if I miss for the whole rest of the turn.
Yeah. That one doesn't add to your dex, though.
Doesn't add to my dex. So I wasn't thinking that one.
No, that one's an awesome one. That's one of my favorite feats for a rogue because without using your cunning action, you can go in there, stick somebody, and then run away.
Exactly.
And the DM will never be able to hit you. The other one, because you use a bow so much,
even
if you're not using a bow, using a dagger, you're doing an extra D6 damage with a critical. And
right.
You get that nasty one, I'll roll it again.
Yes, that's right. I looked at Shadow Touch. Again, no dex bonus, but it gives me intelligence. I like using my skills because I thought about turning invisible. It kind of adds to the hiding type of theme that I have. But again, you guys are all spellcasters and stuff, so I said, nah. And then the last one I looked at, which I think is fluffy, but again, it's not worth losing the dex, is Bountiful Luck, which is really cool. It's a halfling one, and it lets me pass on my luck to you guys. If you ever roll a 1, then you guys get to get the halfling luck and do a reroll.
If you were maxed out on your dexterity, I would say take that.
Yeah.
Problem because you're not, I would take the bump. It's to your hit. I mean, your dex goes, for you, hit, damage, AC, and initiative all goes up by 1.
Yeah.
And you get that extra damage with
stealth and sleight of hand. It's just so many things.
So I'm going to take Piercer.
Yeah.
What do you think of that?
Wise choice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No brainer.
All right. I'm going to take it to Dex, of course. I mean to Strength.
Yeah.
All right. So
I think everybody should think about more penetration.
Of course you.
So there's my stats. I get to go to the 18, getting the +1 bump in my bonus. Definitely going to take that. And now, Craig, you're coming right at the perfect time.
Perfect. Everybody else is done, so it's just
Am
you.
I though?
Yes, totally you.
Yeah.
Did you already level up Sheldon? Or she didn't?
No, I have done nothing.
Well, good.
Bazinga.
Now's the time. We've got 25 minutes left. I'll have Joe walk you through it.
Well, I'm trying to.
How to open your character sheet?
Yeah, I used to. This doesn't seem to be working quite the way I'm used to.
Well, it looks like little newspapers up there. If you click that,
Yeah.
you can open up your character.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. And then I got me.
Don't forget to share your screen.
So the green
Right.
share
I
screen.
don't know how to do that.
In the Zoom meeting at the very bottom, it should say mute
green
the
button that
participants
says
and
share
share
screen.
screen. You click share screen, you should be able to share your screen.
Now I am currently okay. Wait. Well, in that case, let me.
You've never shared screen on Zoom.
What?
You're a teacher. And you've
Teachers aren't allowed to use Zoom. It's easy to hack. New Hampshire hasn't allowed teachers to use Zoom for months.
That explains how Joe got into this conversation.
Yeah.
I've been in classrooms all week.
Yeah, there I'm not you guys have disappeared. Oh, there you are. Okay. So down here you're telling me I've got participants, chat, and record on this computer. That's all I got.
You have to expand your screen.
Change your view, and you should be where it says.
Oh, wait. Okay.
For those little
Share
insider-
screen.
Share screen. Little insider baseball. This is what it's like to record with Craig. And it's really awesome to have Russ put on his super patient IT voice when he goes, okay, hit the 3 buttons on the side. Craig's like, 3 buttons? I don't have, oh, wait, here it is. And especially when he's in a grumpy mood, which clearly he had a rough drive home, and you see a face
night.
like that, that's
loving
priceless.
this.
Yeah, never mind.
Apparently,
You guys are awesome. Happy to be here. Happy I just went through everything I needed to go through to get here. Thank you for letting me feel that love.
All right, you're gonna be called
Everything this is costing me, it's well worth it.
You right. If you get a chance to listen to this, go back to the beginning, and there was a lot of pure love from me for you.
No, I believe
on the
that.
record. On the record.
Then he put his
Pure
clothes on.
love.
We started recording.
Oops, okay. So I got 2 screens here. I'm trying to use them. Okay, so I want to make this all big again like that. And then I want to do this, and I want to share this screen. And so
There we go.
Perfect.
there, okay. And I'm looking for the character sheet.
Yeah, you did it. Oh,
Yeah,
cool
you did
picture.
it. So on the character sheet, you want to look for what it says where it's the red core bio spells. There's a little gear. You want to click that gear.
Okay.
Right.
This gear
There you
here.
go.
Yep.
And on the third column, go all the way down to the bottom. On the third column, going to scroll down. It's going to say launch level plus character match, the bottom one. Click
Yeah.
that. And I can't believe your computer's, I think, slower than my computer. That's amazing.
Yeah, no, it's special.
Yeah, well, mine's 8 years old. Mine's almost as old as my kids. My
Yeah.
kids going to college.
Mine's not, but somehow it gets filled with other people's crap. So
I'll slow it down.
I'm not seeing any movement.
Click it again.
That would be the 3rd click.
Yeah. So, yeah. So what'll happen is eventually this is going to bring us to the next screen, which you're going
Is it
to
though?
I don't know if it is.
I don't know that it is.
There we don't go anywhere.
No, I just moved it. I didn't.
Right.
So
Try one more time because 4th time's a charm.
4th time's a charm.
Wiggle it up and down. That always
Okay,
works.
so as an IT expert, I would just keep clicking the button a bunch of times. That's why.
Wait.
Till it buffers out.
Yeah, because that's how I handle things.
So
Yeah,
weird.
we could just give you a break, and Russ could do it later with you.
Did you you probably didn't look at anything feeds or anything. Let's do this
Yeah.
instead. let's do
Well,
this.
my big problem was I couldn't find on Roll20 any of Russ's feats. We went through that on the text chain, and all it ever showed me was grappler.
Oh, so yeah, feats.
You don't want to be a grappler?
Yeah,
No, not
Warlock.
really.
The two things. Warlocks are limited with the number of spells they have. They only get 2 spell castings per short or long rest, never more at
Right.
low levels. They get up to 3 higher levels, but in our purposes, only 2.
Yeah.
So you might have a lot of spells known, but you never get more than 2 castings.
Yeah.
So any feats that give you more castings, like I took Fey Touch, which, as I explained earlier, helped me, are huge. Because you have a limited number of spells, Warcaster. Now, you were a Hexblade, so you can use shields or not?
Yes, I can.
So as a Hexblade, you could take shields, medium armor.
I have medium armor.
Yeah, and so you could be pretty damn effective if you took Hex. You could cast Hex on somebody, and that adds a D6 to your damage, but it's a concentration. So getting hit, if you take combat cast, you get advantage on making that save.
Right, but my whole shtick is the shadows, the darkness.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking, Craig. Since it's not advancing you to the next screen, and frankly, a whole bunch of people have seen it do it 5 times anyway.
Yeah,
maybe just sit back and then you haven't had a chance to tell us the other guys have in the other episode. What's the vision of your character? How did you create them? How do you like to create your characters? Like, catch the listeners up to how you do it.
Well, this isn't really how I do it. This was sort of handed to me. Russ and I worked together, but it was to a vision that he had. And I gave him recommendations or requests, and they would sort of shift or adjust the direction we were going. But he wanted a warlock, and so I learned warlock, and then I came up with the whole gladiator background, and he had the whole thing about destiny and like the alignment, and there's a lot going on with why he's the alignment he is, and how that presents itself as he's a bit of a sociopath. He wants to follow rules. He doesn't have any innate sense of rules himself. So he's constantly trying to find people who he thinks would be a good role model to follow. It just ended. Did somebody just end?
I ended it so our faces were bigger while you were talking.
Okay, yeah. I'm just going to keep clicking this every now and then, but it doesn't seem to be doing anything. So
you can refresh and try it too. But I love this archetype, moral archetype.
Yeah.
Craig, it's very Amos from The Expanse.
That's what I said when I had it explained to me. That was my immediate touchstone.
This makes me like Shadeen that much more. I'm very excited. I have a question for you as an experienced thespian and role player.
All right.
When given a part, how are you going to then, with this story, make it your own? Like, what parts do you want to feel out? Like, you were very much in the idiom of the last adventure and now I will show everybody that I control the darkness.
Yes.
Oh, this is really bad. I still control the darkness.
I may die in the darkness, but I do control the darkness. Well, I mean, I would always try to figure out what my story is, because I think every character, it worked.
Oh, okay. Want to share it? We can keep going?
I can try.
Because you shared, it might not go.
Okay. Is this what I'm supposed to be looking at?
That's it. There you go.
Okay.
So you're going to just click next on that. Just click the next in the bottom right.
Yeah.
Now for your level. So you're going to click your roll for your hit points. You want to roll a 5 or above. If not, you're going to click average. So click the roll. Nope. On the actual character says average is red.
Oh.
Just
I
to the left,
roll.
click roll.
Yeah.
Maxed out. Nice.
Nice.
Out. So
That's good because I can't see it. I'll take your word for it.
So just click next on that then. On the bottom right.
Yep.
Your maximum hit points. And now this is your Eldritch Invocations. And you already have them, but you can either swap them out or you can keep them.
No, I'm good. I like what I got.
So then you can click next. They get nice hit points there. Here you go. Oh, geez, you got a good stat block too. So now you have a choice of increasing your ability scores. Now your charisma as a hexblade is like strength to a fighter. It controls your 2 hit, your 2 damage. So your charisma is your strength in this one. So max that would give you +1 hit, +1 damage, and all your social skills. You can add 2 to that. You could also do a feat. So it's up to you whether you want to kind of max that out or go with a feat that would
get the full list now. There you go.
Yeah, now I think what I am going to have to do is look these over, because I didn't have somehow the school firewall like allows some things through and not other things.
Yeah, you'll want to take your time with that.
So yeah, I kind of want to. I mean,
but now you know how to get there.
Charisma's not going to suck.
Yeah, 20. That's maxed out. Now 20 is max.
Right.
You can't go above 20.
No,
that would be the best min-max choice for a stat block.
Right.
As far as feats, the only other feat that would be a min-max would be Warcaster, and that's so those precious spells you have you don't lose, like Hex, which is good for 1 hour. At your level, you can cast it at 2nd level.
You keep trying to push me towards Hex, and I keep telling you that darkness is my friend.
Oh, right. Sure, that's true. Yeah,
How about Dragon Fear?
Well,
I love
that.
Dragon Fear as an extension of Shadows, terrifying Dragon Fear.
I did look at that. I will admit that I looked at, I found, because those are in like one of the little niche books that Russ has access to. So I was able to look at the 2 Dragonborn specific ones. But
well, let's go down. We want to go on the list right now. We get some time, right?
Yeah, we got 15 minutes.
14
either
minutes.
That, or just talk about how you build your characters, or like this one, or either way, Craig, you decide.
Well, I like characters who have a really interesting hook. And so, I mean, believing that you have a destiny is a pretty common hook, but wanting to follow rules, but not really being able to see rules yourself is, I mean, I love Amos. He's probably my favorite character from the books and the TV show, The Expanse. And so that really intrigued me. Although when you add in all of his other stuff with the destiny and the charisma and the gladiator stuff, he doesn't have the same kind of brooding bad boy intensity that he has. But I still like that idea of I'm looking for a hero, man. And I stumbled upon a group of people where every seeming hero is following a little halfling girl. So I'm very confused. I'm not sure really what to make of that yet. I guess I'm going to have to puzzle through that on my own, did a little introspection, maybe some dragonkin meditation at some point.
Heroes come in all sizes, Craig. All sizes. Well,
that's a lesson that Shadeen hasn't learned yet. So,
Seppi, did you have a follow-up?
No, that was my actual question. Since Shadeen is looking for an archetype, and our group is filled with lots of different things, and the person who was the most heroic in the last battle it defers to a tiny halfling girl. I was wondering who you were going to pick.
Right. Well, and it may not be the same person every time. I don't know.
Yeah, one of the neat things is you can develop your character. You can be like, okay, I'm going to attach myself to somebody. But as time goes on, just like, I'm usually a dwarf major, and sometimes John gets that thing. You can go back and forth. Yeah.
Right.
Loser.
Did you go ahead, Seppi?
Oh, what's super interesting is Dan plays his character like a social chameleon. Like whatever the in-joke is or the things that people are doing, he wants to add to that choir of voices. Now, your character, Shadeen, is very much a showboater. And so, Robin Williams, other people who had real stage presence, but internally a lot of demons or is looking for a moral compass. Right. How you play that out, I'm very interested to see how that rocks out.
Yeah. Well, it also helps that I have a voice in my head. that every now and then tells me stuff that I 100% believe. I'm sure this voice, as it speaks in Russ's voice, I'm sure it will never lie to me. All of its information will be rock solid and be to my best benefit. And I know that I can always trust it.
Now, wait, Craig, are you saying when the character was handed to you, its voice instantly came to you, or you're saying that's your patron?
No, that's the patron.
As a warlock.
Because warlock patrons are notoriously loyal to their minions.
Yeah, absolutely. See, I know. And that's how I could fail so utterly in my role to try to figure out if I could see you guys when we all first met. And then I could turn around and wink at you, even though I had clearly completely failed because the voice said, they're here.
Aha. And what's the typical character you find yourself playing?
Oh, I don't think I have a typical character. I mean, fighters. The thing for me is I'm like not like most, if not all of you. I'm still way back when we were all playing this as teenagers and maybe college. I don't understand the video game or MMORPG acronyms you guys use. I don't understand or even enjoy hearing the discussions about tanking and whatnot. I don't like talking about what class I am because I think that immediately locks you into a mindset that I think you guys actually enjoy doing. So to me, I don't think about, well, I like fighters or I like magic users or I like people who are kind of like a little bit not like me. So I can, it's easier for me. It's very easy for me not to role play and just kind of like sink back and let you guys, because like maybe I'm loud and obtrusive in real life. You guys are more loud and obtrusive when you get around a table rolling dice. So I have a tendency to kind of pull back a little bit. So I try to have a character that gives me something that I can perform that's performative, that will not allow me to sink back, because that's sort of, and I don't know why a psychologist would have a field day with this.
That's really interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. Why my tendency in this venue, and it's probably because you all, I assume, know this game and all these role-playing games. Maybe Seppi and I are probably on the same wavelength. Everybody else, you guys are, on page 37, Craig, you'll find that dragons have blind sight, right? So,
you found that out face to face with the dragon.
Not to launch any arrows at anyone in particular. I'm just saying that it could very well be that because I'm so behind the learning curve on this game and not really interested in like, oh, but you have to understand that when you bump this up, you get 2 more of these per one of those. And those are that's why I think when we did Dungeon Crawl Classics, it's so loosey goosey and disconnected from the crunchy stuff that it was just easier for me to do. So
speaking of Dungeon Crawl Classics, oh my gosh, that would be fun to play with this group if we ever have like a side session or something like that. Joe and John, have you heard of what that is?
Yeah, you did. You did it with me at my house.
Yes, we have.
Yeah. Yes, we did it once.
Nothing could beat. Doc is running the Sinister Secret of Saltmarsh, which is my favorite of all time. I love Doc. You're muted, by the way. It is my favorite of all time. And Craig, going back to your point, one of the reasons why Pyric is such a coward is every mechanic, every interaction, and every creature is a surprise to me as an actual player. I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to get myself killed. I should know this stuff. I'm like, no, I don't know anything. Nor do I have the bandwidth to know these things. So I am just going to write them down in my book, and then I'm going to be cowardly as hell. And that is just what's going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, so the role playing I can handle. What I have to fight against is just sort of being a placeholder where you guys say, okay, Craig, now go over there and do this. Or if you go over on this square, you'll get these other things. So go ahead and do that. So it's constant battle in my head whether I just, go with that or try to come up with my own plan. And that's not fair to you guys for me not to know the mechanisms and then to fight against them. So, there's a whole thing going on in my head the whole time we're playing.
Well, D&D has two parts to it. It has the chess combat grid where you're fighting, and then it has the role-playing part.
Yeah.
And so enjoy the role-playing part. And just like, Rafe walked in here and goes, I don't know what that means to get advantage, whatever. Same thing with Seppi. We'll walk you through it because the whole point is to kind of learn it together, and it's more fun to hang out. I feel like in a 2-hour session, we probably get about half an hour of actual Dungeons & Dragons playing and an hour and a half of talking. And so it's more about the characters and doing that. So
I definitely like that ratio personally.
And Craig, too, feel free to play your character however you want, because Russ and I were commenting that in one of ours that we did where our group, nobody knows what each of us are going to do, and we just go off of it. Like Joe's never said to me, no, Rafe, don't do that, do this. Now he may say, hey, ding dong. He doesn't say ding dong, but if you stepped one more, you'd have flanking. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's what I want to do. He'll give me tips, but he never is like, no, don't do that.
No, everyone in this group is great that way. I don't want to make it seem like you guys are trying to control me or tell me what to do. You're giving me suggestions, which are great. It's just
I will use the term ding dong if you like, though, Rafe.
I prefer doofus.
All right.
I like ding dongs. I'm on record to know that I like ding dongs.
I'm like, I could use that.
You laid that one right up for him.
Wow.
To like
all right. And then you said laid. So I guess we're not doing relevance today. What's it called? What's that called?
Phrasing.
Thank you.
Phrasing.
Phrasing.
All right. Anybody want the last word? John's apparently muted. He muted himself. Doc has shenanigans going on in his house. He's muted. Does anybody want the last word about anything about their characters or what they're looking forward to next session in 4 minutes or less?
Well, I'll be interested to see on the next session. I'm just going to interject because we're going to call him Sheldon from now on. Sorry, Craig. But Sheldon's going to come in. He's going to cast darkness. And the entire party is not going to be able to see butt kiss. And he's going to go around stabbing everybody. It's just going to be a complete mess.
And then the darkness will end. Everybody, all the bad guys will be dead. I will be standing there, arms akimbo, and I will say, "You're welcome."
Or what's going to happen is he's going to cast darkness. The monster's going to hit him. Darkness will go down.
Yeah.
So will he. And then we'll come in and save him.
Right, exactly. Either of those is acceptable to me.
Oh, man.
I'm excited about Shadeen. I don't want our party to be mammalist. Now, one of the things that's so exciting about our party is we don't actually have a human in our entire party.
Oh, that's true.
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
The dwarves are even unconventional for dwarves. They're sort of, cross-type for dwarves. Euphemia is a little different. She's like our leader, and as you could, reasonably run around with a party of elves. People have had that party before. But yeah, no humans at all.
I didn't catch that. You're right.
It gives us a lot of options role-playing wise that other parties might not have.
That's good, though, because I got the last party of all humans I was with killed. So, it's time to try something new. Those cultists had outlived their usefulness anyway, clearly. But, my track record with all human groups is not good. Shadeens.
Well, I have to say that I'm pretty psyched that I didn't just kind of go with the full stat bump. I like that I got a feed out of it and a +1, and so that's pretty cool. And if nobody else has any last words, we can turn the recording off. And for those listening, thanks for listening, and we'll see everybody next week. Hey there, I'm Rafe Granger. I'm glad you are here listening to all of us breathe life into the D&D world of adventure and fandolin. I often don't mix my geek persona with my work persona, and if there's one thing I've learned from COVID, it is that these times are like no other. I began to think, there might be people within the sound of my gaming voice that would like support in their business and life. As you may have heard tangentially in this podcast, I have changed my career focus from about 5 years ago now.
I've changed it into business coaching and corporate speaking. I coach entrepreneurs and executives how to live their best fantasy life. See what I did there? I help people move from their busy mind of ideas and tasks and workload and guide them into realizing the work life and personal life that they really want to be doing so they can live the life they really want to live. If you either feel stuck with so many ideas or not enough time to sit still and think about what direction you want your work or business to even be going in, don't hesitate to reach out to me. I often do a quick discovery call with business owners and entrepreneurs. There's no fee to see what they're up to and if I am the right fit to help. And if you want more information just generally, go ahead and listen to the Rafe Granger podcast where we talk to interesting entrepreneurs and discuss coaching and networking concepts in my normal, coffee-style, relaxed manner. Or feel free to reach out to me directly at rafe@rafegranger.com, or of course you can check out my information on my website, rafegranger.com. Thanks for listening, and you can be living your fantasy life.
Achievement unlocked! You've made it to the end of another D6 Generation episode, the podcast whose humor has universally been acclaimed as not too horrible. Please let us know what you thought of the show by emailing us at info@the d6generation.com. If for some inexplicable reason you actually enjoyed this show, you can help others find out about it by leaving positive reviews on iTunes. Thanks for listening and happy gaming.